So I hope you're all Sherlock Holmes, my friend, or Tony Stark. I guess he was kind of a detective, or Batman. Batman's a much better one. I should have said that. I love Batman. But we have 3 separate mysteries on Monday Night Raw, and we had a brand new one revealed to us last night. Nobody knows the answers, but we're certainly going to make some guesses today. I'm a bit worried that WWE has already forgotten about one of them, which will make me a sad panda. More importantly, thank you for joining me as always. My name is Simon Miller. Make sure you enjoy the channel and subscribe. It's basically like we sit down and we're having a chat as friends and as loved ones and as family members, whatever weird word you want to use, because wrestling is the most important of the least important things. Let's go. Also, wonderfully, this video is sponsored by Saley eSIM, so thank you very much to them. And actually, it ties into my own life, because you may remember a year or so ago, I went on tour with the Last Match Rock and Roll Super Duper Pro Wrestling Musical, and I was in America for a long old time, and I didn't want to continue to use my phone on plans I had over here, and that is what Saley could have done, had I been smart enough to check them out. As soon as you do enter a brand new territory, you just go to Saley, and you can download the app, and it will sort of walk you through it. It's very, very, very simple. But you can essentially put eSIM on your phone, which of course is a magical SIM that exists in the air, but you can start to use local antenna or local services. So no matter where you go, you're always going to be connected. And let's face it, it's 2026. Nobody wants to be unconnected. The thought of it is super scary. So if you do go to saley.com/Simon Miller, you will get 15% off your first purchase. Let's say you are going to the United States of America or somewhere similar. You can go there, you can just load up the eSIM on your phone, and you can take advantage of local plans, and you haven't got to worry about data roaming or all those unexpected charges. Well, let's face it, have all whooped our tuchus at some point or there. If I had known about this, if I ever go on tour again, I'm going to use it, which sounds like I'm just saying it for an advert, but it's not true. I was like, oh, damn, I probably should have researched a bit more, but I didn't. So thank you very much to Saley. Check them out again. Use my code down there. All the information on the website too. It's super duper simple and easy to use. This is the wonder of modern technology and eSIMs. Thank you, Saley. Now on with the video. But yes, after the first segment of Raw, which we'll talk about in just 1 second, there was a mystery box backstage. Very exciting. In many ways, it's really 1990 all over again. It could be a giant egg. And on it, it said, do not open until the Elimination Chamber. It didn't say the Elimination Chamber. It had the date on it. Man, did I laugh. I love this. WWE has masked men. They have the secret man on the phone. And Adam Pearce was like, I think his name was Eli, the delivery driver, who, by the way, happened to have a clipboard as if it could have been a list. He was like, why have you delivered this? What's the address? And the address was honestly like WWE Land, 123 WWE Road, WWE EWW. It was so funny. It made me laugh out loud. Adam Pearce wants something to do with this, and he told them to send the box to SmackDown, which, of course, is just a good way to advertise it until we get to the Chamber in a couple of weeks. I'm sure Nick Aldis would go, I think you should send it back to Raw. Do we have one more Raw before the Chamber? I think we do. I'm getting confused. I would imagine this is Chris Jericho, right? Let's not stand on ceremony, Mr. Wayne. Let's just go and get into it. And there are numerous reasons for this. One, I'm 99% sure I'm right in saying that Chris Jericho, when he debuted in WWE in 1999, it was in Chicago. The United Center, I believe, is where the Chamber is. Either way, it doesn't matter. Chicago is a great crowd for debuts. Like, I understand they went totally nuts for CM Punk because he's a Chicagoan, but they'll do that for anybody because they're a great crowd. They're a wrestling crowd. We talked about this after the Royal Rumble. They probably should have debuted a Powerhouse Hobbs or a Royce Keys in an area like that. It just didn't really work at the Royal Rumble, and it is a shame he hasn't been seen since. I don't think that's particularly good, but I did check, and I could be wrong. It's not like I went in depth here. I do believe the current European Fozzy Tour ends on the 21st of February, which means they've got a week to get back to the States and acclimatise. And of course, it could be somebody else. I saw some fantasy booking that it could be Danhausen. My gosh, I would love it if Danhausen got to WWE. It could be the Gobbledygooker Part 2. Let's not forget that people were pumped about that egg 30, 40 odd years ago, and it turned out to be an absolute bust. I would imagine it's Jericho. I would imagine you want to do it then as well, because it would tie into a WrestleMania program. Who against, I don't know. Maybe it would be a Dominic Mysterio Intercontinental title match. But yes, as the title of this video suggests, we have the Masked Man who appeared in the first match and he stomped Logan Paul, so he's essentially taken out all of the Vision. Don't think he's attacked Bronson Reed yet, which is interesting. Then you get the box, but also, as we also had extra hints on this show too, you have the person on the end of the phone. Because Paul Heyman was all like, oh man, I'm going to put Bronson Reed in the Elimination Chamber. And Adam Pearce was like, oh, I know, you've gone above my head again. And it's this person who's on the phone, right? We don't know who it is. I'm pretty sure Paul Heyman has told us outside the WWE bubble that it's not going to be Triple H. I think he even said Triple H would be scared of this man. So maybe it's like a ghost or something. I mean, it makes sense. If a ghost came in and said, put Bronson Reed in the Elimination Chamber, like, I'm sorry, ghost. And this is like Boo from Mario. And then you'd be fine with it. But that hasn't been addressed. And let's not forget, when Bron Breakker got suspended, he returned. Why? Because of the flipping man on the end of the phone. Now, I am slightly perturbed, and I hope I'm wrong. I'm an idiot after all. That could be a WWE get out of jail free card where we can continue to use the secret phone man to get the stuff we do need. They'll never reveal it. The box, obviously, they have to reveal on the Elimination Chamber. I'm going to go with Jericho. Let's ask some questions. Let's be bold. I thought Jericho was going to be at the Royal Rumble. Someone messaged me going, I bet you look stupid now. No more than usual. You should make guesses when it comes to wrestling, and you should get work. That's why it's fun. It's entertainment. It's live shows. I understand why people get so het up about this. And I'm pretty sure the masked person who did stop Logan Paul is just going to be Seth Rollins. And I don't mind this. Not every mystery has to be the reveal of, oh my gosh, it's Krang from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And you'd be like, I can't believe Krang is here. It can just make sense. And I would imagine that WWE is looking at the timeline, waiting on Seth Rollins' health situation to, are you going to be good for Mania? Not going to be good for Mania. How long do we have to stretch this out? I would imagine he will be good because these wrestlers, man, they rehab like crazy. So when he does go, it's me, we could go, great, Seth Rollins is back. He's a babyface. He's been taken out of the division. Why he had to do it as a masked man, I don't know, but I can understand it from a real point of view. It's because WWE doesn't know when he's going to be cleared, but they want to start this story now so it has some momentum going into WrestleMania. Makes all the sense in the world, but that is okay. I remember when DDP debuted and he was the Undertaker stalker. It's like, all right, okay, great swerve there, bro. But flipping, DDP is a stalker. Did you watch WCW? Oh my gosh, it makes me mad to this day, especially because he got such a good pop. He should have been the People's Champion Part 2 because he was the People's Champion at WCW. Let's go shake a wall or something like that. And as for the man on the end of the phone or the woman on the end of the phone, I have no idea. And I actually know who WWE can come up with because Triple H is meant to be the all-seeing eye. It's not going to be Nick Khan. That would suck from a storyline point of view because he's never been introduced into the storylines. But, I mean, there is a criticism of the WWE is doing this too much. I would agree with you. I certainly had a lot of fun with masked people over the last, 5 years, really, or at least back to 2002. That was Clash at the Castle, right? So we're talking 4 years. We probably do need to retire it for a while. But also, as a man who seems to have the capability to just sit down and watch an episode of wrestling within the context it's presented itself to me as, while also then being critical on a wider basis, I get it, right? It still makes me go, who's it going to be? Because deep down curiosity, and that rhymes so it must be true, is always going to do something to your brain. I'm going Jericho, I'm going Seth Rollins, and again, I couldn't even hazard a guess. Like, is Vince McMahon? Terrible idea, for reasons I'm sure you could figure out, and we don't need that. We don't need to go back in time, even if we are ignoring everything else. It wasn't better in 2019, good grief. It really wasn't better in 2019. I hope we get all of them answered. And if it is Chris Jericho, it's going to be a moment. It will be like when CM Punk came back and it was something else that WWE did in Chicago. I can't remember now, but it will be huge and it will be awesome. And more power to Chris Jericho. I know there was this weird negativity around him when he left AEW. Life is too short. The man has done it all. He is a Hall of Famer. If he's going to wrap up his career in the place where he spent most of the time for his career, why the flub not? I hope he has great matches. I hope it feels like dream bouts all over the place, and it just makes us all feel warm and fuzzy in our tum-tums. This episode of Raw was also hilarious. There are a couple of things that made me laugh out loud. The opening especially, because out come the Usos. They get cut off instantly by the Vision, and they stood there for 15 minutes doing nothing. Just in the crowd being like, what am I meant to do right now? And then obviously LA Knight comes out, he yells at the Vision, and the Paul Heyman's yelling at Adam Pearce because they all hate the Masked Man. Basically, it's set up a 6-man tag, which is also funny because Adam Pearce, I bet, was like, well, I had nothing booked, bro. So thank goodness we did do this. I guess the more interesting case is what's happening with LA Knight. We talked about it yesterday, a rumor that he's going to be doing something with Brock Lesnar. I don't see that at all, though I think Brock is on Raw next week. I could be wrong. And just so I don't forget, the tribute show to AJ Styles is next week, essentially his retirement ceremony. Now, thank goodness we are doing that, because who deserves it more than AJ? Felt more like an angle, though, but we'll park that for now, and we'll come back to it. But LA Knight did get his ass whipped here. It was the Usos that got the hot tag. I mean, Jimmy Uso's the one that got pinned. Logan Paul hit him with the big right hand, then Bronson Reed smashed him with the Tsunami 1, 2, 3. I can understand this, because I think it is going to be Bronson Reed and one of the other Vision going after the tag titles. We talked about that like last September. That would be a good idea. And the Raw Tag Team division does need that. The Raw Tag Team division is totally dead. I like the fact that Jimmy and Jay are the champions. I think they're flipping fantastic, arguably one of the best teams ever. But they need credible threats. And because the Vision are pitched as a top act, it will feel like that, as opposed to random teams just coming out of the ether. The issue being we don't have anybody beneath them. So we need to start cooking there as well. But LA Knight, great promo, so over, so awesome. A friend of mine just got back into wrestling. First person he texted me was, I like this LA Knight guy. Based on nothing, If he is going into a feud with Brock Lesnar, I didn't really take much away from it here. Sort of feels like because it was Bronson Reed that crushed him on a car, maybe it'd be Logan Paul and Austin Theory that go after the tag belts. We do Bronson Reed versus LA Knight at WrestleMania. Should be a big match because, of course, Bronson Reed beat Roman Reigns, but I don't think WWE's followed up on that one very well either. And also, it would just be a stuck in the middle of the card match, and there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you have to remember, without that, a wrestling card wouldn't be good at all. But I would understand if you're an LA Knight a-thon, whatever we call LA Knight fans. And I am. I love the guy. I think he should get more too. But kind of felt like in the middle of nowhere, maybe I'm being a bit harsh, because he did come out and cut a good promo here. It was very exciting. Very exciting. Like I'm his granddad. It's very exciting, LA Knight. I don't know his real name. I presume his real name is Los Angeles Knight, because what else would it be? Interesting, though. And of course, the Vision are super mad at this Masked Man. And later on, even Bronson Reed was like, hey, Adam Pearce, mate, I'm going to take you out there, Masked Man. And Adam Pearce like, yes, I want that too, you absolute goober. So it could be like a Survivor Series 1998 thing where actually is somebody in the Vision. Obviously not Bronson Reed, because that would give it away. But we did do that with the Corporation and The Rock. Like The Rock had given the people's elbow to Vince McMahon in 1998. And as we can see, Triple H does like going back into the past to build the future. Would I like it here? Arguably not, because again, I think Seth Rollins is the best idea. But the Vision did win, and they did beat one half of the tag team champions. So it stands to reason they now do get a match. Maybe even do it at WrestleMania. Good main event as well. Javon versus Gunther versus Dominic Mysterio. So happy that Javon won. We talked about this last week. I was like, it's the perfect place for Gunther because he can lose without losing. And he got smacked in the head with a flipping ring bell, courtesy of Dragon Lee. So funny too, because Dominic Mysterio got the ring hammer. Gunther took it off him like his dad. He's like, oh, I'm so disappointed in you. Anyway, Dom then tries to hit the Splash of the Frogs. Javon gets the OG cutter instead, 1, 2, 3. So pumped for Javon. No, he's not going to win the Elimination Chamber, but he can show out, man, right? And he can prove to everybody how much fun he is. He's just so damn fun. And you can tell he's got a goofy side to him, so surprise, surprise, I like that. I think he's wonderful, and I think WWE has not even a diamond in the rough, because it's already awesome, but a gem. Let's use annoying words. If somebody else said, I'd get really mad. But they just have something with Javon. There was that rumor recently, and again, rumors, pinch and salt, we never know. Oh, WWE has seen a very specific ceiling for Javon. You don't know. You don't know where somebody's ceiling is going to be. Look at Daniel Bryan, right? When Daniel Bryan signed from the indie scene, nobody thought he was going to main event WrestleMania 30, but he did, because he connected. And I think Javon Evans just has a unique flavor to him. And he feels young, which sounds stupid, but you do have a super young guy, and he can appeal to the youth. More people are going to tune in to watch, because they'll think he's cool. Nobody thinks an old man is cool. It sucks. We should do, but it doesn't happen. So the fact that he beat Dominic Mysterio, great IC champion, maybe that's going to be a feud that we do coming out of the chamber. I don't know, but I liked all of this. And Gunther should not be in the Elimination Chamber if he's not beating John Cena, right? If he's not beating, because he beat John Cena, he can't lose for the rest of this year. He absolutely needs a massive match for WrestleMania. I have no idea what that can be. I like Dragon Lee. You can't do Dragon Lee versus Gunther at WrestleMania. You can do it on an episode of Raw, and Dragon Lee, very sadly, is not going to be able to beat him. But just overall, taking a headline, Javon Evans going into the Elimination Chamber is brilliant. He'll have the crazy spots. As far as I'm concerned, that man can fly and fly and fly until he gets to the top. The only segment I didn't get, and I talked about this on Ups and Downs, I think a little bit more eloquently than I will do here, so please do check it out. Again, I do the freelance reviews for What Culture, was AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch. And the reason it's hard to talk about is because it wasn't bad. Not by any stretch of the imagination. It felt like they listened to criticism from last week, which was a little bit over the top. This was grounded in seriousness, but I just can't get into this feud. And that's why I do need to caveat it, because I think sometimes we do react in kind. Oh, it's the worst thing ever. Not the worst thing ever at all. AJ Lee, fine. Becky Lynch, fine. More than fine. I don't know why I said that. They did exactly what they needed to do. But by the end of it, I was like, I don't want to see this match any more than I did. And I'm still a bit curious about how we're laying the groundwork. Now, I think a reason is because WrestlePalooza was back in September. I just think it's been too long. No problem with AJ Lee's schedule. She can come and go as much as she pleases. She has earned that as far as I'm concerned. But I think if you knew that, we should have ended at the Royal Rumble at the earliest, or the latest, I should say. We didn't do that. Now we're going to be having 2 matches. AJ Lee, I thought, came across a bit heelish here, like saying my merchandise sales are better than you and I'm more popular. And then Becky Lynch coming out and saying, I'm going to murder you. Essentially, that did make me laugh. I just don't know. It's so hard to talk about, because AJ Lee talked about the Divas Championship, about the previous generation, the next generation. She wants to work with Bayley, Lyra, Rhea Ripley, all these names. And Becky Lynch comes out. She's mad because she feels like, you just want a retirement ceremony. Never deserved a retirement ceremony. You're looking past me. It's not fair. So once again, it ticked all the boxes. But I just sat there and I watched it. I was like, okay, cool, yeah. I was almost empty to it. Now, listen, neither of these people are ever going to watch my videos, because who am I? But on the off chance that they did, I would like to tell them, as I did on my What Culture 1-2, genuinely, Becky Lynch, one of, if not the best women's WWE wrestler ever. I think she is fantastic. And I love this character too. It makes me laugh out loud. AJ Lee doesn't have this reaction she does when she does come back, or this sort of aura, let's use stupid terms, that she had, especially before she did return, by accident. That doesn't just get put on you for fun. You have to have it. So it's me. I'm the problem here. I'm not trying to sort of play a get out of jail free card here. But if you walked in right now, I'd be like, how'd you get in? I locked the door. But I would understand if you said that was my favorite thing on Raw. I'd be like, I totally understand that, but I just can't find my way with it, and I don't know. Drop me a comment below. Let's be nice. I can't stand it. I've already seen it because other people did agree with me. They go after the people. Can we stop going after human beings in wrestling, right? Becky Lynch is a character, and AJ Lee is a character. You can say whatever you want about those people. Don't cross the line. Well, you can do whatever you want, right? You have the power to do that. I just think it's totally uncool, because you should be allowed to go out there, and neither of these people did that. I'm just painting this as an example, and not play your character very well, and then have someone say, I didn't like the way that character was portrayed, without it being, and also that person is, and then just personal trade, personal trade, personal trade. I think it goes way too far. I think sometimes people think they can say whatever they want on social media, which you can, but I think respect and niceness goes a long way. It's just not for me. And again, the Elimination Chamber match will be good. I do believe we're getting a round 2. I think Becky Lynch will win, and AJ Lee will be crowned at WrestleMania. So I think by then I probably could be into it, but I got to be honest with you. Sometimes people think sort of approaching wrestling positively, which is what I always do, means you just say everything is great. I've never done that, and people that do throw that at me, you just haven't watched my content. Not being horrible, but I have a show called Ups and Downs where things literally get down. And if there's no downs, the show concept wouldn't work. But I do think we can approach things with respect, and I think that's a positive way to do it. So shout out to AJ Lee, shout out to Becky Lynch. I just can't get into it, and I don't know why, but I'm going to try hard. I think that's important. Somehow the El Grande Americano feud is fun. I mean, you told me that beforehand. I'm like, how the hell are we going to get there? I mean, essentially, all the other El Grandes are getting involved. And it was Penta versus El Grande 2 for an IC title shot, which makes no sense. Neither of the guys have any momentum. But original El Grande stopped the other El Grandes from using the face mask. And then we got their Mexican Destroyer, 1, 2, 3. It's now Penta versus Dominic, round number 476. Dominic just wants to beat up wrestlers that are named after shapes. And it's just the way that the El Grandes interact with each other. It's so dumb. And listen, WWE has done stuff with it, especially outside of the ring, that I do not like. But when they are going at it, I don't know. And I assume they will fight at WrestleMania. And the OG one seems to be the heel. It's Ludwig Kaiser, who seems to be the one that is more popular, I would guess. The worst part, but somehow this makes it better too, is you have Michael Cole and Corey Graves going, oh, who could this possibly be? They look like people we know, but we're just not sure. So dumb, and yet it works. So don't ever tell me that wrestling has to make sense. It is 2 + 2 = potato. I think Pete Dunne and Tyler Bates, surprise, are doing excellently in their roles as well. And if you had told me that beforehand, we're going to put these dudes under masks and they're going to pretend to be luchadors, I'd be like, oh no. It is going back to 2019, but I think they're all having fun with it. And I think Ludwig Kaiser is the sort of centerpiece of it, because the man, he just wants to have fun. He heard Cyndi Lauper, right? He's like, I can do that. Again, am I going to think about it in 6 months' time? Probably not. Do I want a fun payoff when one of them gets unmasked? Yes. Do I think it should be Chad Gable that gets unmasked and Ludwig Kaiser stays this absolute stupid character? Yes, I do. Fun is fun, man. I like to have fun. Otherwise, CM Punk and Finn Balor, I thought, did really good here. And they were kind of fighting uphill a little bit, because all I heard all week was, oh man, there's no jeopardy. But I was like, I don't think that's where we're going. And I definitely thought it after this. So CM Punk is like, Finn Balor used to be great. And Finn Balor came out and said, yeah, I used to be great. Damn right. Went to Mexico, went to Japan, do all the stuff in Europe. Debuted on Raw 10 years ago and beat Roman Reigns. And Punk was like, yeah, that's how you used to be. Now you hang around with JD Big Head McDonough. You hang around with the condom Dominic Mysterio. Dom's got 2 belts, never defends them. JD McDonough's got a big head. They've dragged you down to their level. And Finn Balor actually, the way he reacted was like, oh my gosh, you're back to CM Punk. Then later on, JD was like, let's beat up CM Punk and you'll win the world title. And Balor was like, no, I must win the right way. They storm out, and Dominic Mysterio, who's going to be in the main event, who did lose, like, excuse me, buddies, we need to do this together. I think we planted the seeds. I do think CM Punk is going to win. I do think Dominic and JD are going to turn on Finn Balor, or at least one of them. And I think Finn Balor will go on to take on Dominic Mysterio, maybe at WrestleMania, to become the IC champion. He's already come back out to his babyface theme with the bruh and doing stuff with his hands. I think it's got to happen. And I think if that's the case, Sure, we have no jeopardy in the sense of Finn Balor isn't going to become the world champion, but it has a purpose. And for a feud to get to a feud and turn Finn Balor back babyface while reminding everyone this guy is amazing, one of the generational talents, that's all a massive tick box. And I think that's my favourite thing about it, because Finn Balor is that dude. He did open doors. He did go to Japan, Europe, and Mexico and do all these things and prove that it can be done. He was the flipping maker of the Bullet Club. So the fact he's getting to spotlight that in CM Punk, who is a massive star, and CM Punk always makes his feuds feel important. Couple of thumbs for me. I really, really enjoyed this. And no, Finn Balor will lose at the Chamber. But if it does lead to the end of the Judgment Day, good. It's long overdue. We've kind of been eking it out a little bit too much like the AG, Lee and Becky Lynch stuff. We should draw a line under it. Dom and maybe JD could be buddies, or maybe JD teams with Finn and it's Dominic and Finn Balor that have their thing. That's the thing to do. I just thought it was good. It has a realistic edge to it. I'm not going to complain. And speaking of Dominic, he sat down with Liv Morgan to talk about who she's going to pick for WrestleMania. She's not going to decide because she's been grinding. When Stephanie Vaquer walked in, spoke Spanish, this was the funniest segment of the show. Now, actually, it ended very interestingly. But Dominic was whispering to Liv Morgan the translation, because, of course, Liv doesn't speak Spanish. And it was just stuff like, embarrassing, you suck. Oh, she thinks you're terrible. It's like, Dom, shut up. Why do you keep doing this? Liv Morgan burst into tears at the end. And at first I was like, I'm not sure anything that, well, basically Stephanie Vaquer was like, you haven't grinded or ground, whatever the right word would be. I've done that. WWE handed you everything. Very fiery promo by Stephanie Vaquer. And yet Dominic Mysterio just explained everything. And Liv cried. Interesting, Liv crying, because of course she's meant to be the heel. So maybe we are heading to some kind of babyface. Of course she's going to pick Stephanie. I think we did this to really justify how can I possibly worry about Jade Cargill. But it did leave me going, well, I do want to see what's going to happen. And I do think that WWE has something with each of them. Like whoever walks away with the belt, you don't forget about the other guy. They both can actually probably reach an even higher plane. So it was good. Totally hilarious. And Dominic Mysterio is the worst boyfriend of all time. So, oh man, your cooking is terrible. Remember that project you did in school? Man, the teachers hated you then, they hate you now. But different. I don't mind different. I think there was a production snafu, because we saw Liv Morgan sitting down for that interview at the start of the show, and then Michael Cole said he'd already done it. I was like, when? That may be my mistake. I may have gotten it wrong. We also, before I do forget, had something between Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and the Kabuki Wars. Also, Asuka got through to the Elimination Chamber. It was Asuka versus Natty versus somebody else that I can't remember now. Bayley. Bayley took the fall here, tapped out to the Asuka lot. I think Bayley and Lara should win the tag team championships. And Asuka going through made me so damn happy, because of course Natty was right there. Maxine attacked her afterwards, so I don't know what's going to go on there. That was interesting. Kind of feels like we can't really eke that out to WrestleMania. But Asuka being in the Elimination Chamber, I think she should win. And I think we should do Jade versus Asuka at WrestleMania. Don't care that it don't make sense, because Asuka is the flipping best. At the same time, I don't think WWE necessarily followed up very well with the Kairi Sane Asuka Royal Rumble stuff, but I've definitely moved on. Look at my face. That's basically it for Monday Night Raw. Maybe I've forgotten about something, but very sadly, my clock is looking at me going, Simon, your appointment is right now, so I have to cut it short because I've got to edit this damn thing. Hopefully we got into it, and I think the mystery stuff is what people want to talk about. Thank you as always for joining me. Please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the video on the screen, which are my hilarious predictions for who should win the chamber matches, though I stand by them. They still make sense, even though one of them can't happen now. Otherwise, it is growthamind.com/Simon. You go to Simon to get money off the best supplements in the world. They ship worldwide. Patreon.com/Simon316. Simon316 on all social medias. Please follow me on Instagram and TikTok. My Under the Mat series, which is going to have a brand new YouTube channel as well. It's Between Two Ferns. I've always wanted to do it. I did it back in 2016. Much like Finn Balor, I wanted to bring it back. Check it out. If you don't find it funny, you never have to watch it again. Otherwise, it is Cameo, TikTok, and Pro Wrestling Tees. If you would like to support me, I appreciate you, my friends. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you soon.